Hey guys, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
So, today, Mick, we're going to be having a look at octave pedals and the like. But first of all, housekeeping.
Yes, right. Number one, we are on Patreon. It's crowdfunding for creatives. If you want to give us some money, do that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone that's already been on there and done that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Number two, yeah, big thank you, actually.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Let's take our time over that.
Yeah. No, we're really grateful, guys.
Number
Thank you
two,
so much.
please buy a t-shirt. That's one way in which we raise a bit of cash to help do the show. You can buy t-shirts and find them at www.thatpedalshowstore.com.
Very good.
Very nice. And we also have exclusive preferred retailers in the USA. That is Rift City Music. Please check them out on their website. And Anderton's Music in Guildford for the UK and Europe. We recommend you go there and look around their stores.
Very good.
Right, good.
Okay, so octave pedals. I find them really interesting, especially with what's happened to the technology in the last however so many years.
Yep.
So originally, when you think of an octave pedal, we think of so like the Boss OC-2, which would create an octave below the note. Okay, so we've actually got an OC-3 here. So I'll just quickly show you the idea. So today we're using the Victory and the Super together, and it sounds like this. Got my Gretsch. Anyway, so what an octave pedal does is it puts an octave below or an octave above.
Which is not just right from the outset. We're not dealing with fuzz octave today, which is a completely different thing. The Jimi Hendrix sound in Purple Haze, we're not dealing with that. That's not for this show.
No, that's at a later date. It's different, totally different thing.
Yeah.
The original octave pedal, what it did was, in an analog sense, it triggered a sound.
Okay.
Right, as opposed to creating a faithful reproduction of our sound an octave below.
So like a synth kind of thing.
It would trigger it like a synth.
Right,
okay?
sure.
So if we have a look at the OC-3, for example. So here's like the original bottom note. Put the OC-3 on. Now, very important. You hear that it's sort of farting and moving around. And there are certain places where it tracks really well.
Not dealing with that very well, is it?
No. But that is part of the beauty of the analog style triggering of the note, because it all depends on the attack of the note, you know, so it doesn't deal very well with like square shaped waveform. So if I stick like a distortion into that, but if I go a bit higher, yeah. So yeah, part of the beauty of the analog thing was it wasn't a recreation; it was its own thing, like a synth. Yeah. It would trigger when it felt like it, you know. So very cool sound. But then we had this, when the digital thing came in, what they were able to do is capture that sound more authentically and recreate the sound an octave lower.
Sure.
Another thing that the analog thing wasn't very good at was chords. Okay, so for example...
polyphonic and monophonic.
Exactly. Yes. So if we go back to a lovely chord, if I try and do that with the OC-3. I love that.
It does have a polyphonic.
Yeah, so if you put the poly on. So what that mode is doing is it's recreating the original analog one. But So, now, this is why you would see the OC2 and such on bass players' boards.
Right.
Okay? Because they'd be, doing their thing, but what it did was it created this fat, thick voice around the note. It was very cool.
Some amps have it. Some bass amps had it built in. I remember the Ashdown bass amps had an octave built in.
Did they?
I'm sure there are others. Yeah, I'm sure there are others.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So that was the idea originally with the analog things. It was a trigger. But if we go back to the Whammy, which I played before, and this is an amazing pedal. This is a Whammy 5, okay, and
they made 5 of them.
They've made 5 of them. It's amazing. So. So the generated tone is on the treadle, so you can sort of throw it around. Bit of El Grunjo on with that. Right.
Well, there's my third blue solo in G taken care of then, isn't it? So there we are, all nice and happy.
So what the polyphonic mode, it allows us to play chords.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've just noticed it's in harmony mode at the moment.
Right.
Which
the harmony mode, it leaves the original note in.
Okay.
If you put it on Whammy mode.
I think my blue solo would have been better.
Let's try your blue solo.
Would have been better in Whammy mode, personally.
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, that's
what I was missing.
Exactly.
That's what I was missing.
That's how.
Who wouldn't love that?
Of course. But that's how they did the foot. That's how. that's 2 octaves. If I go down to 1 octave, then. Yeah, without the...
Endless fun.
It's great. So, I wanted to include the Whammy to show you can get octave effects with that, but you can throw the note around as well. It's very, very cool. Right. So, 4 others we have here. We've got the POG2.
I know people hate it when I turn the knobs down, but it's just... I'm just seeing the edit and going, ah, like that.
Yeah, so he has permission to touch my knobs. You and only 3 others. So
you and everybody else in this town.
Okay, right. We're gonna have a look at this one. This is the POG2.
I had the original one, the silver one.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. So when Electro-Harmonix came out with these, it was crazy town.
Because it was presumably the first usable polyphonic octave generator POG.
That's right.
That had really been attainable and usable.
Yeah. So this is the POG2, and it's smaller than the original one, which was massive. Yeah. It's got presets in it. It's great, but it has the same, the same basic features. So if I'm now, it's polyphonic, which means it does chords. Now, what's going on there? I'll show you. I'll turn everything else down. So the first thing we have is the dry output, the guitar sound. Okay, so if I match that up, about there. Now I have 2 octaves below. Oh yeah.
Let me play the guitar.
You play. So. So there's 2 octaves below the note, all right? There's 1 octave below the note. So now if I add some 2 octaves below and 1 octave below, we get this. Now we have the 1 octave above. So that's an octave above. Here's 2 octaves above.
You can deal with string bends and
Yeah,
tracks really well.
It tracks amazingly. So now, if I put a combination of those 4 octaves in. So the first thing it reminds you of is
church organ, obviously.
Church organ, because you remember the drawbars where it's opening up the different.
Yeah.
You know, church organ has the largest range of any instrument in the world, like by a huge mile.
Yep.
So what we're adding there, we're adding to our note. If you imagine our note as a fundamental, and then we're adding octaves below and octaves above, so we can hit one note. But because we can play chords,
yeah,
and it doesn't go crazy, then we have this amazing rich where everything mixes in together. Now, what is fantastic about this, about the POG2, we have this attack slider. So if you play, so it governs how fast the octaves come in.
The reason I'm playing so badly is because it totally changes every single thing you understand about the guitar.
Absolutely.
The way that it attacks, the notes, how they hit you, the way it's putting it out from the amp. I dread to think what it's doing to my poor super reverb.
Oh no, it'd be loving it. Speakers would be going, yeah. So we have this D-tune that detunes the octaves, so you get some intermodulation between them. It's really, really cool.
The musical ideas are just spilling out of me today.
Well, you say that, but now if I put some... So that's just the POG2, okay?
Yep.
Now if I put a bit of overdrive into the front of that, the OCD...
Jeez, I mean, it's ridiculous. The frequency range is just crazy.
Sounds great.
It's horrific.
No, it's great.
You play something.
All right.
Just that, so you could, in fact, lose the
dry signal.
The dry completely and play the bass guitar, could you?
Yeah. I mean, it's synthetic, but
you could do a passable green onions or all kinds of classic organ stuff you've heard on records.
Stick a phaser, a little bit of delay into it.
Literally minutes of fun.
Okay.
No, I get it. I do get. I'm being facetious. I do get it. I can imagine there's certainly in a smaller band, if you didn't have a keys player and you just wanted to cover off some chords and stuff like that.
It's great.
Really, really effective.
It's the same engine that they use to get the the little keyboard pedals they have.
Yeah.
So you can see where that's coming from.
So how does that translate to the Micro POG then? Because presumably it's a lot less expensive.
Yeah. Well, the Micro POG is simply the dry signal, the bottom octave, and the octave up. But that...
Really? Do you want to keep going? It's quite different from an OC-2 though, isn't it?
Oh, very different, because the OC-2 being... So it's not
just
a replication.
monophonic.
Yeah, it's not a replication of the guitar sound.
Right.
Whereas this is, it replicates digitally the sound of the guitar.
And it's polyphonic, so that's why it sounds like an organ.
Exactly.
Yes,
but
yes.
what I love about this, if I just put loads of bottom end in there, tiny bit of top end, that with an overdrive.
Sort of reminds me of John Spencer.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Need some OCD, really.
Awesome. Nice.
And for my next song, it's Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh, yes.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, I have both of these, and I use them both. I use the POG2 obviously for the organ thing, but I love just the Micro POG for a standard octave below thing. Really great. But the great thing with the POG2 is that you got the presets. I can have a sound with just the octave below, and then scroll through presets to get that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is really cool. Now, TC recently released this. This is the Sub and Up, which is, so if you want to keep having Schwang.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my mobile phone out at this point. Because
oh, yes, of course.
It does the old tone print app thing. Tone print app, as you can see. And then you go into the menus and you go by product. And you can find down here the Sub and Up Octaver. Don't know if the camera can see that. Probably some horrific reflection. And then you select it. And then you've got multiple tone prints. And then we can beam some in a second.
All right.
I think I've just got some sort of message. Oh, my mum. There we are. What do you want for your tea?
My mum was over recently.
I don't still live with my mum, by the way. I have a wife. Everything's okay.
My mum was over recently. She was very disappointed she didn't get to meet you.
That's all I have. Anyway, yes, Joan, if you're watching, I'm really sorry we missed you. Next time.
There you go. That's my box tick. At least I get a Christmas present now.
Okay, right, so...
tone print.
Yeah, Sub and Up. Okay,
Sub and
so
Up,
how does
right.
this differ from any other Octaver on the market then?
Let's have a look. So, there you go. Sub and Up is on. Differs from the POG that we have the octave below, the second octave below, and the octave up.
Sounds in some way cleaner to me. I don't know what that is.
Bit of El Grunjo.
Sort of.
It's the second octave below. If I take that second octave below out, have a listen to the difference.
Everything's going.
Yeah, it's great.
Everything's going.
I was going to flick it to tone print mode. There we go.
Right, so let's go for Octadrive. I wonder what that is.
Cool.
Cembalo Shake.
Of course, I've always wanted to hear a cymbal shake. awesome.
All right, let's do one more tone print. Polyphonic organ generator. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. I love that modulation they've got in that. It's brilliant.
Well, I think
I love the fact that they've got tone prints that actually
Yes.
have things like modulation and things in them. That's really, really cool.
that's the point, isn't it? That's the point.
Because I did think that how could you have 27 different tone prints that just are a combination of those different octaves? But no, there's actually different stuff in the tone print, which is awesome. That's great. Let me have a go at that one.
Definitely puts it in a different league to all of the others.
Yeah, that's wicked. Awesome! I love this! That is killer.
You better get your own band
I had
and leave all the bands you're in.
no idea that was in there.
It's cool. It's
That
really
is
good.
really great.
Fair play to TC with the tone print app because it does.
Amazing.
It really does expand the functionality of those pedals massively.
Yep.
As long as you have a smartphone with which to beam it in. Which I'm sort of surprised we managed to do successfully, Dan.
It only took...
Yeah, given not great with technology.
No. Well, it shows you how simple it is.
Thanks.
Right. So we have the T-Rex Quint.
Yeah. Literally no idea.
No.
I was picking up some pedals from Anderson's yesterday, and Danish Pete said, "Take this." I think partially because it's Danish, and partially he said it's really cool. It's got an extra. It's called the Quint because it's got an extra fifth.
Okay. So
Harmony
Let's
in
have a
it.
go at that one then. So you have Shane. We've got the plus octave, low octave, and we have a fifth. Ready?
Nobody knows what they were doing or where they came from. It's so pentatonic.
That's awesome. Let me
I've just realised the application for it because I'm thinking, why on earth do you want a fifth harmonic? Because what about if you set it really low, stick some drive on,
yeah.
and go for a solo tone? And is it a bit like having having an extra harmonic?
This solo from Owner of a Lonely Heart, yeah. So without the, the. That's very cool.
Before you went into full-on yes mode, I was thinking more in terms of a much more subtle approach where, if you're playing with a lot of gain and you've got a certain sound, you've got a load of extra harmonics in there anyway, depending on what the guitar is, and maybe it could just bring in a little bit of that kind of mumbo, maybe. I don't know. Does it?
That's cool.
I think it is. So if you...
I like that.
We started off this video and I'm going, yeah, octave pedal's okay. It's one of those things that you have, and if you need it for a specific song, or if you don't have enough people in your band, or for whatever reason you don't like having lots of people in your band, it's really, I've seen people use them to great effect. Mm-hmm. But, for me personally, it's not something that I'd be into. I'd be into that.
Sure.
I'd be into that.
Yep.
Because that's got a bit of shades of Jimmy, bit of shades of rock, used more subtly rather than overtly, which is... I like that.
Yeah. Very cool.
Does the POG have a fifth in it? No.
No.
It's just octaves.
Just octaves.
Way to go, T-Rex.
Very cool.
Yeah, because what you need is a fifth harmony. And they were sat at the planning meeting and somebody went, yeah, that's a great idea. It is.
So we met up with the guys from T-Rex.
Yeah, Michael. Hello, Michael.
Oh, man. They are just... What a great bunch of guys. Just awesome. So there we go. T-Rex Quint. But, so yeah, another take on, the octave thing. Really great. So hopefully that's, just showed you, it's not just about having a note sticking underneath. There's a bunch of really cool things that you can do with the octaves.
Yeah, and I think as you go beyond that, if you were to bring looping into the equation,
yeah,
and you're going to take the dry signal out, maybe playing a bass line, all those things that we're probably not clever enough to do, but I bet Jack Garrett would have a thing or two to do with that. It starts to get super creative, doesn't it? And of course for recording and inspiration for parts in songs.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
I feel like we didn't really get much out of the Super Octave.
Well, okay. Here you go.
Yeah, because we don't understand it.
I'll show you what it is.
Right.
You play.
Really?
So classic OC-2 sound. But then I put it on the drive mode.
Oh yeah, like a synth.
Like a synth.
Yeah.
with that in. Go.
Maybe not.
I'm going to try. I'm just going to swap them around for a second.
I had a Digitech synth, sub-synth, something or other, which was much more synthy, and that's more in that vein, isn't it? The Boss.
Try it now. So let's just swap the order. I put this now before the Super Octave.
Can I see the Super Octave? That's cool sound.
Yeah.
So that is doing something that none of the others do.
Yes.
It's got that drive, but it's octave 1 and octave 2 are one down and one up.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if I was being slow there. I didn't really feel like we got it the first time around.
No, very well. The thing about the OC3, because you can get the original OC2 sounds in there as well.
Right.
The tripping out thing, but no, the OC3 is very cool, and a different thing again.
Yeah, see, I wasn't, when we started doing this video, I wasn't expecting each to have its own. I was thinking, really? What, 5 octave pedals? 6 octave pedals all on the same board? I knew this one did something different, just by the way. What number's it?
That's on. It's on.
Is it?
Yeah.
As I said before, minutes of fun. Yeah, obviously we know that one does something different. We know the POG has its own place in the world, but it's been really interesting to see that the others do too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, the way that the octaves are voiced is very important. Love the fifthing and the Quint. I love the tone print stuff in the sub and up. It was very cool.
Yeah, the phase and
yeah.
yeah.
The organ sounds of the POG2 is brilliant. You know, the Micro POG.
To me, that's the most kind of organy.
Yeah.
Those two.
Absolutely. That's good. That's where your organ sounds lie.
Yeah.
But tell you what, I'm having one of these.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I love that the modulation and phasing and stuff within the pedal itself is really, really cool. Oh, but that fifth is really nice.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Well, there we go.
There we go.
Little trip through octave pedal land.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a look at the fuzz octaves thing
later
because that's a different.
No doubt,
the whole show on its own.
No doubt, this video will spawn a load of comments and suggestions about where we go with it next. But yeah, introduction to octavers.
Very good. So, with the one last thing we have to do though.
Oh no! Okay, yep.
Now I tell you why this is going to be really interesting, because if I put a pedal like the Micro POG that already has an octave below into the POG2, that's gonna produce an octave below on the octave below from the Micro POG, and so it'll keep going and going and going until there's just this. We'll be sick with the low frequencies generated,
and there'll be 8 blue whales outside the front door when we go home.
Yeah, it's not their fault, mate. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, you're playing, I think. Right, so can I just turn them all on from here?
Just hit them through there. So if you hit,
they're in stop box mode.
Turn me on.
probably our most successful one yet. See you next week.